What's up? What's going on, everybody? And welcome to this video. In this video, we are going to go over hip mobility. What are the things that you can be doing to increase your hip mobility? Also, if you have any sort of low back pain, hip mobility is going to be highly necessary. So if you are having low back pain or some hip pain, this is going to be the perfect video for you. Let's get into it. So I'm gonna try not to waste any of your time, and we're gonna get right into things. So first, we want to start off with an assessment. So an assessment is going to be to see where your hip internal and external rotation is going to be. In this video, we're only gonna focus on the hip internal and external rotation, okay? So how you test it, right? And you can record yourself, or you can just do it by looking, right? But what we wanna do here is take one leg up and rotate it out as far as it'll allow you to go, while keeping this leg relatively straight. And then we go ahead and rotate that same leg in as far as it'll go. Boom, nice and simple. Then we'll get the other side. You're assessing how it feels to you, but also, is it actually moving? Are you doing a lot of compensations? So we're going out this way. Do you feel any pinching or anything in the hips while you're doing this one? Nice and easy hip assessment. I like to do that one because you see kind of where your hips are, where they start out at, and you can also video yourself just to see where they are from the beginning of the session versus the end of the session. So we're gonna get right into it. So now there's a couple different levels for this first one, right? We want to focus on external rotation of the femur, right? So the femur is gonna be that long bone that's in the leg. Now, the external rotation of the femur is going to mean that the lower leg is actually rotating toward the center line, right? So what we want to do in this one is make it easy on yourself. We're gonna drop down this elbow, right? So we'll start in this 90-90 position. So we got a 90-degree angle in the front and a 90-degree angle in the back. What we're gonna do here, drop this right elbow down. My right leg is in the front here. Now, the first one we want to do is just use your actual muscles to bring, or not your muscles, do it passively, right? So we want to take this leg and pull up passively and just hold. We want to make sure that this knee doesn't leave the ground, right? So we're actually pulling it up ourselves, right? And then let it down. So we'll pull it up 4 times, right? So pulling it up. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. All right, so that was a passive range of motion. Passive is going to mean that you or somebody else is doing the movement. You're not actively using those muscles. The next one, we want to do an active hold. So we're gonna pull it into that passive range of motion. The goal is going to be to not let that leg drop, but it might drop. All your job is to do is to tighten up those leg muscles, right? So that the leg doesn't drop. If it drops, that's perfectly fine, but you want to make sure that it doesn't hit the ground. So you're tightening those muscles to make sure that it doesn't go all the way back down to the ground. All right, so we're still in the same position. We'll pull it up here, and then you're pulling as high as you can go, then we'll let go. Boom. That's your active range of motion, and we'll hold that there. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. There we go. On the next one, what we'll do is come up and down to that same point. All right. So what we want to do here, I like to take this palm and just pin this leg down, and we're rotating up. We're rotating up. All right. So we're gonna rotate up. We're gonna go for 10 reps. All right. So we're here. We're coming up. 1, 2, 3, going as far as you can. 4, 5, and if it doesn't move anywhere, that's perfectly fine. Just try to move it. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. Boom. Then we're gonna go to the other side. All right, so same exact thing here. The first thing we're gonna do here is 4, okay? So we're pulling it up passively 4 times. So we're here. Oh yeah, this side is, woo. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. And then we'll go into that, that hold, right? So we're gonna pull it into that passive range of motion, right? And then let it go. There we go, hold, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and relax it down. Now, we'll take that other hand, pin that leg, and then we'll rotate, all right? So we're coming up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. All right, and we got a little rest here. On the next one, what we're gonna do is focus on the opposite range of motion. And this one we're gonna focus on external rotation. On the next one, we're gonna focus on internal rotation. All right. Again, the point in doing all of this is to, number one, start to improve the quality of the tissue that is around and surrounding the hip area, right? The quality of tissue is basically going to mean that you have tissue that surrounds your hip, right? This is going to be muscle tissue. This is going to be muscle tissue, bones, cartilage, all of those things, ligaments, tendons, right? You have all sorts of tissue, fascia, right? You have all sorts of tissue in the hips, right? Now, the point in doing this is that we're number one, moving the things around, because chances are you don't even get into those range of motions, especially the passive ones, just because there's such a large range of motion compared to what you actively have control over. Also, we want to blood those areas with blood, because blood is basically like, if you ever feel like you're like a tin man or tin woman, right, and you need some WD-40, this is your WD-40. These exercises that we're doing right now are your WD-40 for the hips, right? You're basically saying that we're pushing and flooding blood into the area. Blood is going to carry the nutrients that that those tissues need to actively start repairing. If that blood never gets to those tissues, what's going to happen is they're going to start to atrophy, 1, and then 2, if you don't use them a lot, so atrophy means get smaller, right? If you don't use them a lot, the neurological connection is going to diminish, right? Not only is the neurological connection going to diminish, you're actually going to start to build up some scar tissue, because it just makes it easier for the limb not to be able to move, and it makes it easier on the body and the brain to kill connections that it's not using, right? So if you don't use ranges of motion, it's like that use it or lose it concept. If you don't use ranges of motion, you lose them. Just like if you're sitting on the ground right now, right, and you never sit on the ground, you have lost a significant amount of range of motion and compression and extension, strength and length and all that stuff, because you don't do that regularly, right? So what we're doing is we're programming that into your regular life. Now we're gonna go into the other way. So we're gonna work on that hip internal rotation. So we're gonna go back into that 90-90 position with the right leg in the front. The left leg is back. Right, I'll turn this way so you can see me a little bit better. Okay, so I'm here, again, 2 90-degree angles. I got 90-degree angle in the front, 90 in the back. I have my elbow down on the ground. My elbow is basically in line with my hip, right? From there, what I want to do is rotate this leg, right? So this long femur bone stays still. This heel is going to rotate up towards the sky, so it'll look like that, right? The first one we'll do is just rotating up. We're gonna go to 10, okay? So we wanna try to keep the rest of the body basically still while we go to 10, all right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. We'll rest a second. On the next one, we're just gonna hold that in range of motion. All right. Again, making sure that nothing else is really moving. Just being cognizant of that. Nothing else is really moving. Just this heel is going up to the sky, and that's gonna force that rotation. That's gonna be internal rotation. All right, so if you don't really have good internal rotation, this is probably going to mean that your hip is also not going to function how it's supposed to. Also might lead to some of that low back stuff that we were talking about earlier in the video. All right, we're going to hold for 10 seconds just at the top. Let's go. Come up as high as you can, as high as you can. You might catch a cramp. It's fine. It's fine. Just go through it. I'm catching a cramp in my hip right now. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. There we go. Boom. And then we'll switch over to the other side. Nice and simple. You already know the setup. Elbow is down, close to in line with the hip. Heel is coming up to the sky. Yep. We'll go to 10. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. And the next one, we're just gonna rotate up as high as you possibly can. Hold that for 10 seconds. Let's go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. There we go. Boom. All right. On the next one, we're gonna focus on an external rotation. Again, this time we're gonna be in that 90-90 position. From here, we want the left hand in the middle and the right hand is on the outside. My right leg is in the front and this left leg is in the back. What we want to do first is take that left knee and close the gap. So my left knee is right up against my right heel. From here, I want my torso up as straight as possible. And from here, I am rotating this leg open and go back as far as you can. Now, in this movement, two things are happening. One, we're getting some external rotation on the hip, which is going to start to fire the glutes, right? So you might catch a cramp in the hip, in the front of the hip, or maybe in the glutes. Perfectly fine. Just go through it. When we're doing this one, we're also simultaneously getting a stretch of these growing muscles here. All right, so we have to make sure that both of these arms are locked out so that we're isolating just this hip. Okay, we're going to first do the 10, just going back, right? If you can get your leg all the way over here, try to go back further. Okay, and if you can't, if you're somewhere in the middle, that's fine too. All right, so we're here, just like this. We'll go to 10. So open up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. Boom. On the next one, we're gonna move this one back, so we slide it back. This front leg, we wanna actually get the whole leg off the ground, all right? I lied, I skipped one. We're coming back here and we're gonna hold. We're gonna do the 10-second hold. I knew I was forgetting something. All right, so we got the 10-second hold. So we're gonna rotate this leg up, hold that contraction, 10 seconds. So we're here, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. There we go. Nice and simple. Then we'll slide that leg back. From here, what we want to do again is make sure that we're sitting up nice and tall, all right? There's two different ways to do this. We can sit up tall here, or you can drop this elbow down. If you didn't have great motion on any of these, I would suggest starting off with the elbow down. It's easier, but doesn't mean it's easy, right? So I'll show you it here, right? I'm here, I want to lift this knee and ankle off the ground at the same time, right? And I'm lifting up and back down. You can take this palm in the middle here, or you can just put the hand on the side here. All right, we're there. The next one, we're here, both palms down, and we're lifting up. All right, so you have those two options, all right? Those are your two options. What we're gonna do here, we're gonna go 10 reps, and then we're gonna do a hold. So you can pick whichever version you want to do. I'm gonna stick to the one where I'm sitting up nice and tall here, all right? We're gonna go in 3, 2, 1. We're going to 10. Lift up as high as you can. Get that knee and ankle off the ground. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, 10. There we go. On the next one, we're gonna hold again. All right, we're gonna hold for 10 seconds at the top, as high as you can possibly hold. If you catch a cramp, it's all right, just deal with it. Hold high, 10, 9, 8, and if you're shaking, that's normal. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. There it is, boom. All right, now we'll switch to the other side. Again, we'll start in that 90-90 position, and then we'll take that back knee, slide it up to the front heel. All right, so I got my left leg in the front, my left palm is nice and flat on the ground, my right palm is flat on the ground in the middle, and I'm doing 10 external rotations first. All right, so we're going 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then we'll do that 10-second hold. 10, 9, 8, 7, really push that knee back. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. There we go. Again, here you got the two options, whether your elbow is down and we're lifting from here, coming up this way, right? We want the knee and the ankle both to come up off of the ground, whether you're doing it there or just sitting up nice and tall and doing the same thing, lifting off the ground that way, all right? What we're gonna do here is 10 and then the 10-second hold. Let's get it going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. All right, on the next one, we're just gonna hold up as high as you can go in 3, 2, 1. Hold high. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. There we go. Woo! That was tough. All right, and that is it for today. What I would suggest, because I didn't want to make this video forever, normally I do 3 rounds of this, so I would just start the video over again and just go ahead and do the same thing 2 more times. Same exact thing 2 more times. This way, we're making sure that we get enough volume to start to make a change and a difference, but also, we're also getting enough blood flow to all of those tissues. I'm gonna turn this video off and I'm gonna get my other, I'm probably gonna do 4 rounds. I'm gonna do that for 3 more rounds. So, what you also want to pay attention to is, in terms of frequency that you do this stuff, right? You can do these things every single day. Now, I know almost nobody, unless you have really severe issues, all right, is gonna do this stuff every single day. You also don't need to, but you're also going to need to do this probably 3 times a week at minimum, especially if you had difficulty moving around. I am not the greatest at all of this stuff, but if you were struggling, like severely struggling, catching cramps, couldn't actually finish the round, then you definitely want to keep doing this. And actually catching a cramp is not bad, right? But that just means that the muscle is being taxed so much that there's nothing really left in there. So the next thing is that the muscle's just gonna start shutting off just to get a break, right? So what we want to make sure that we're doing is strengthening up all those muscles, and especially if you were having some sort of muscle cramps and spasms and shaking going on, all of that is 100% normal, right? But that's saying to yourself that you need to get better with these movements, right? Because these movements are going to be normal hip motions, right? And if you're blocked off from certain hip motions, this is going to affect your knees, this is going to affect your back, this is going to affect your neck, this is going to affect your heels, this is going to affect your ankles, your toes, your shoulders. It's going to affect everything if your hip mobility is off, because your hips have some big muscle attachments to it, and it has a lot of say-so as to what happens when the body is actually in motion, especially if you're doing things like running, walking, I don't know, regular human life, right? Like the hips are involved in almost everything, especially if you're doing sports and things like that as well. So make sure that you get those things in, and that will help you out immensely with your hip mobility and back pain. If you have any questions, definitely hit the link down below or text it in the description or something like that down below, and I will check it out. And if I can't answer your question in there, I will answer it. If I need to make a whole video about it, I will do that as well. So I hope that you guys have a great, fantastic day, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.